It seems as if the current Halo community is yet again in debate about another noteworthy topic. This time it isn't Sprint and Halo. It isn't about whether the game should have abilities or not. No, this time it's about Halo 3 Anniversary. Regardless of it happening or not, there's no denying the tension that surrounds the rumored title is big, and many fans are longing for such a game. And really, how can you even blame them? Fans have been dying for a classic Halo game for years now, and Halo 3 was just that good. So good that words alone are not enough. They aren't enough to describe something that shaped your entire childhood, something that brought you together with other people who shared a passion for something so unique. Something that created endless amounts of experiences that I, along with others, will certainly remember for the rest of our lives. But whether you preferred Halo 1, 2, Reach, or even 5, there's no denying the praise and the impact that Halo 3 had on this industry. The game was simply ahead of its time. It built upon the classic Halo gameplay that we all loved, and it didn't just stop there like other games. No, Halo 3 innovated. It tried to create a thriving, living, and breathing community through Forge, Theater, FileShare, Customs, and the entire host of community features that preceded every game before it. It fostered experiences through community interaction and created an environment I'd argue is still not topped by any console game hereafter. Halo 3 was just that special, and I, along with others, will always have a special place for it. But whether you feel as though Halo 3's gameplay was too boring or too slow, you just can't deny the fact that it accomplished so much involving the community and the impact it landed onto the industry. After that, how could you not be excited for an anniversary treatment? Many are and many aren't, of course, but this commentary isn't about that. It's about those who are just outright dismissing the idea entirely. They say it's unreasonable to expect an anniversary treatment, and that it's even foolish for anyone to assume 343 are doing so. You hear things like, move on, it's debunked already, enough with this Halo 3 Anniversary nonsense. No, it's not going to happen. Well, in this video, I wanted to focus on the surrounding arguments toward this topic to show you that it is perfectly reasonable to assume that Halo 3 Anniversary can actually still happen. And keep in mind that I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying that it's okay to have an open mind towards it, and that it's okay to believe that it's still coming, because it actually still could. By far the go-to arguments against Halo 3 Anniversary deals with the direct statements from members of 343. This idea that just because 343 says this means that. Well, I'm here to tell you that that isn't the case, and that just because someone says something doesn't necessarily mean that that one thing holds true. For instance, the case with Split Screen. Josh Holmes said it would be there, and clearly that didn't happen. What about when he claimed Halo 5's campaign would be twice as long as Halo 4's? What about MCC's dedicated servers? 343 claimed it would have them, and that was hardly the case for the majority of the game's lifespan. Look, there are many more examples, but at this point it's through their track record that 343 as a company are regarded as being extremely misleading, undeniably deceptive, and very sneaky. With that being said, 343 and the head of Xbox have come out numerous times debunking anything Halo 3 Anniversary related, and I am certainly aware of that. The first case of this was back in 2016 when 343's Frank O'Connor said, "There are no Halo 3 Anniversary plans at this time, and the diminishing returns would make it a tricky proposition anyway." On Reddit, 343's community manager Sketch said, and I quote, "Oh my god, stop, there is no Halo 3 Anniversary," who also previously said that he hadn't heard anything about it since he's been at the studio in regards to the Halo 3 AMD picture. Then you have head of Xbox Phil Spencer, who stated on many occasions that there would be neither a Halo FPS nor a Gears of War game later this year. To many, this spells truth. They listen to this and automatically assume that because it's coming from someone in the company, that what they are saying is actually going to happen. Well, like I just said, just because someone says something doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, especially in regards to 343 and Microsoft. They've done this before, where they state something isn't happening or act clueless, and later we find out they've been working on that same thing for a long time. It's secrecy. This happened with Combat Evolved Anniversary, along with the Master Chief Collection. With CE Anniversary, Microsoft said, and I quote, "Right now our focus is on supporting Halo Reach. We have nothing to announce at this time." In regards to the Master Chief Collection and Halo 2 Anniversary, 343 stated, "We are not working on that at this time. We are kind of busy." Frank O'Connor even said this, "Certain Affinity works on more than just Halo stuff for other companies other than just 343, but it is absolutely not Halo 2 Anniversary, and nobody is currently working on any such thing." Even Phil Spencer did this. In an interview a year after Combat Evolved Anniversary's release, he stated that Microsoft does not want to sell gamers something they've completed already, going on about how they wouldn't be producing any more HD remakes, and that's clearly not the case. Yet after all this, how can you even take anything that these people say and hold it up to such high regard? You shouldn't, because the bottom line is that much of what they say isn't true, and that everything they do say should only be considered with a grain of salt. I like to look at 343 as the boy who cried wolf. You should know this story. The boy warns the townsfolk, claims the wolf is coming, and it actually doesn't come. He keeps doing this over and over and over again, until finally people just don't care anymore. How come? Well, like us, they've heard this before. They're used to the lies, and they logically come to the conclusion conclusion that he's lying again. And that's where we stand right here, right now with 343. It's literally logical to not believe them at this point because, like the boy, they've lied time and time again. I'd even say that it's actually illogical to believe them, yet people still automatically assume that because someone from a company said something that it's actually going to happen. No, that's not the case. You have to actually analyze the situation and come to conclusions based off of information of past and present experiences. You have to understand that 343 and Microsoft are a business first. They aren't a fan service. Their primary goal is to make more money and make profitable titles on the Xbox platform. They aren't just going to flat out admit that they're releasing something later this year. No, they try to debunk rumors so that they lose steam in order to build up hype for an official statement. Let's imagine they did just come out and confirm it. Yeah, Halo 3 Anniversary is coming. You guys guessed it. Next thing you know, IGN makes a headline saying Halo 3 Anniversary is coming. GameSpot and other respected media outlets follow suit, and all of a sudden, everyone knows and expects the Halo 3 Anniversary reveal at this year's E3. It ruins the surprise factor, it derails the hype that would have been for the E3 announcement, and it makes an entire piece of their event predictable. And we could even take this to another level. Since some just love to believe in what 343 say, why don't we break down some of those initial statements that they're willing to trust so easily? If you actually take a step back and think about some of the things that they're actually saying, some of it just doesn't sound right, and some of it just doesn't make any sense. In regards to Frank O'Connor's statement, he mentions diminishing returns. He says, and I quote, "The diminishing returns would make it a tricky proposition anyway." In essence, what he is really saying is that the work invested into Halo 3 wouldn't be worth all the money, so that's why they aren't interested, and that's why it's not happening. What's odd about this statement is that they have the audacity to say this while at the same time, Halo Wars 2 is a diminishing return in itself. The Halo Wars series doesn't sell nearly as much as the main Halo games, and Halo Wars 2 did even worse in sales than Halo Wars 1. It's a diminishing return. So that entire part of that statement literally makes zero sense. You're telling me that you're willing to release Halo Wars 2, which is a diminishing return, but you aren't willing to release a Halo 3 Anniversary because of diminishing returns? It's just odd. And on top of that, they are still investing in the Halo Wars 2 with DLC and moving it to Steam. So like I just said, it doesn't make sense and shows that there is certainly something off here. In addition to that, I'd even argue that this whole diminishing returns nonsense is a bunch of BS. Remasters are relatively popular, especially in terms of Halo. So how is it going to be a diminishing return? That's right, I'd say that instead of that, it's an opportunity to make even more money. How come? Well, it's way easier and less expensive to update something, smother it with microtransactions like they always do, and re-release it to make more money. So no, that doesn't fly by me because remasters are very successful to the point where everyone is doing them now to make some easy profit. Look at MWR, Phantom Dusk is remastered. Yeah, I could go on and on and on. And yes, I recognize that it will cost them to update it, but that cost is significantly less than creating something entirely new from scratch. It would almost be stupid at a business perspective not to take advantage of Halo 3's anniversary. Frank O'Connor also made another statement in response to the Halo 3 screenshot at the AMD event. He says, "It's not happening. Not sure why they use this art, but there is no Halo 3 Anniversary game being made." Right, so he claims it's nothing that he's apparently clueless as to why they use the image. Well, why out of all images of Halo would whoever at AMD pick one that's so tailor-made for Halo 3? Why wouldn't they use a picture that is more in line with what Halo looks like right now? For instance, a picture of Halo 5 or even 4. It's a picture from almost 10 years ago, and it's a picture that just doesn't represent current Halo. Again, things aren't making sense, and really I don't just see this as a random circumstance. But instead of taking his word for it, I'm asking questions, analyzing, and forming proper conclusions. Then I see this often. You have people who say, yeah, Halo 3 Anniversary isn't happening because we already got a Halo Wars 2 and that's our Halo game for this year. No, wrong again. They fail to understand that Halo Wars 2 was originally supposed to release in fall of 2016, but Microsoft couldn't have the project ready in time, so they decided to delay it for the spring of this year. So no, it doesn't make sense because technically speaking, Halo Wars 2 is planned for last year, meaning it's still likely that something could have already been in the works for fall of this year. And that window of release makes entirely too much sense. With the launch of Scorpio this year and hardly any exclusive first-party IPs expected for fall of 2017, I find it very hard to believe that a Halo game of some fashion is not coming. It just so happens that in addition to the launch of Xbox Scorpio, Halo 3's anniversary is also landing right around the same time frame, and that in itself is so convenient for Microsoft, offering another advantage of potentially matching it with the Scorpio. Regardless if I'm right or wrong about anything I just said, do you see what's happening? Do you see what's going on here? I'm not taking 343's word and putting it onto a pedestal. No, I'm processing information and actually analyzing the circumstances. I'm not holding someone's words to the truth. And at the end of the day, this is exactly exactly what I'm trying to stress to you. I'm trying to stress that it is still possible that Halo 3 Anniversary can still be a thing, and it isn't reasonable to assume that it's not happening just based off of what someone said one time. Well, 343 said so it must be true. No, stop. Instead, take what these people say in 343 with a grain of salt, and actually judge circumstances based off of evidence and information that is already comprehensible. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, comment your thoughts, concerns about Halo 3 Anniversary, and lastly, subscribe to Weapons Grade for more content about the future of Halo and gaming in general. Peace.